my goodness, what a play!
Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my!
Dempsey kicks, it's on the way! It is! Good! It's good!
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions!
Oh, he caught it! Oh! Unbelievable!
All right, here we are. We are back. Short turnaround. Part 2 of episode 5, which will explain why we need part 2 for. Live, ready for football. How's it going, Phil?
Not bad. I've got an order of beer coming this afternoon, and
An order of beer.
Yeah. Apparently, Beer Store delivers now.
Really?
Yeah.
For those in the States, we have to get our beer in very specific ways because.
Yeah, and as someone who doesn't have a car, getting beer for me is a giant pain in the ass, but they deliver. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this one thing. Like, I got a couple of things, and one is a Kronenberg 1664 Blanc Fruit Rouge.
I've had that.
How is it?
It's good.
All right.
I mean, I like fruitier beers. So.
Well, I mean, me too. So
It's like a wheat based. And has like some nice, even the Blanc, the normal Blanc.
Well, I've had that one. I haven't had the red fruit one.
Yeah. So I've had both, and here we go. Chris Perkins is in. And he's ready to go. I don't know. I still don't know what this means.
No.
You gotta join us live, Chris.
God, I love the what is he talking about? I have no idea.
I love it though. Chris is in. So thanks everyone for coming for episode 5, part 2. Part 1. It wasn't supposed to be 2 parts, but it got abruptly ended because I literally had to go to my in-laws. So this is the joys of fitting a podcast in times that we have the proper time to do it. I would like to. Hopefully, we can stick to this next week onward. Just do it Wednesday. That's the better day to do it because it's before Thursday night football, and also there's less chance of me having to go somewhere for some kind of a commitment on a Wednesday night than on a Friday or a Saturday. But here we are. So today's podcast is probably going to be pretty Ben Wyatt heavy, or almost completely Ben Wyatt heavy. I don't think anything happened in FOMFA since Friday, so we'll be getting into some previews, some week 1 results, and chatting about week 2. And I will be drinking McLean's Pale Ale. This is the first. I woke up at 11. Because my son is with his grandparents, so I could actually sleep in, and this is the first thing that I've put in my body today. So let's see how that reacts.
Yeah, that's the same. I haven't eaten yet. Weren't you saying
Nico is here? Yeah. What's up,
I thought
Nico?
you were saying like me, you just sort of wake up early regardless, but now you're saying you're sleeping till 11.
No, but I was up till like 4:35, just taking advantage of the fact that there was no kid. We got home from my parents pretty late. It was my brother's birthday celebration yesterday. Got him an Apple Watch, so it was his 40th birthday, so it's a big birthday.
Up until 4 in the morning, having a spot of fun with the missus, eh, Governor?
Hell yes. Hey, other Chris is here too. Awesome. Everyone's ready for some football. So I thought we'd lead off maybe with team previews. I got one locked and loaded, ready to go. Jeff Harkle, is that how you pronounce Jeff's name? Response to the Oakland Rejects, he sent that through. And Denver was going to join us live. He may still. I haven't heard back from him yet this morning, but if I do hear back, we'll bring him in and he can live shit talk. Who's his rival again? Denver's rival?
I've got to assume it's someone in Texas. Hang on.
It's Vegas. Is it Houston, maybe?
That sounds... Oh, no, it's Vegas and Waco. I remember because there's stupid rivalry where it's like there's nothing in common here other than tragedy.
Other than tragedy. Yeah, you don't really want to base it on tragedy.
Yeah, I didn't want to have a mass shootings bowl, so the Glenn Thomas Bowl it is.
Right. Sorry, Chris. We will be getting into week 1 results for sure. Breaking them down and see how people in Ben Wyatt did. It's interesting because Ben Wyatt should be closer games. there's no clear people who are rebuilding. There's no like everyone is kind of going for it, right?
I was, and now I don't know. With Michael Thomas out, like now my team just looks a lot worse. Before it was I have no running backs, but I've got Michael Thomas, and now it's just I just don't have any running backs.
But it seems like, and I don't know if this is just Saints marketing or what they're trying to tell people, but it seems like they're gonna try and get him to play through, because it looked like they were gonna try and get him to play through this week, which is a horrible.
I'd rather they didn't. I'd rather they give him a couple of weeks. But between him being out and then Mack being gone for the year, most people, Marlon Mack is out. They're like, okay, my backup running back. For me, who's like my number one running back. So that Mack being out for the year hurts you hard when you were already really, really hurting at that position. And the thinking was, at least we'll get something out of Marlon Mack. No, we will not. And that's a rough position for him because what's his face is waiting in the wings. Yeah, especially because like it was unlikely he was ever going to come back to Indianapolis in the first place, which is why I actually signed him for a bit longer, just because I figure he'll probably go somewhere and just like split time with someone. Yeah. But trying to get any good shot with another team after coming off a year where you're just out for the whole year, and it was his Achilles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not a good injury to be coming back from. And I've got him for like 4 fucking years or something ridiculous. So,
does anyone in people who are watching, please jump in and comment. Do you know any football players that have come back from Achilles? Like I know that injury well through my just having watched basketball my whole life, and I think we were talking about this in the chat, but we can only really think of like 2 or 3 players that have had this injury in the history of the NBA that came back to kind of full form. Everyone else just like were either role players for the rest of their career or done.
So an article from 2018 is telling me 73% of players return to the NFL.
Okay. Return is one thing.
Return is one thing. But that's still not 100. 73% after an Achilles repair. Career-ending injury and about 28%. Yes. Yeah, this is a medical article, so it's not talking about how useful they were.
If anyone can remember at least a player, I have no recollection at all, or knowledge at all that Achilles is something you can recover from and be good again in the NFL.
Oh, here we go. I found an academic paper.
Oh, interesting.
Called "Worth the Risk." NFL athletes no different one season after return following Achilles tendon tear.
Whoa, really?
Apparently.
That is impressive.
If given the opportunity, because obviously teams are scared, NFL athletes who suffer primary Achilles tendon tears are able to return to pre-injury levels of performance within 2 seasons of returning. So not immediately. Mm-hmm. So next year not going to be great necessarily, but within 2 seasons, apparently back to normal.
Doesn't break it down at all by position, right?
Nope. Well, I'm not paying for the article, so maybe it does.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, let's see. There was a couple Achilles tears actually in week 1, so I'm very curious to see how this happens. One guy who's never really done anything, that finally was doing something on Cincinnati, CJ Uzomah, because Burrows was targeting his tight end a lot, and he got the first touchdown pass of Joe Burrow career, and he's out, Achilles tear. After that game, so it's going to be quite a few that are gonna. Well, let's see if this works out next 2 years or so if they come back strong. Okay, let me see. I just got a message from Denver, so I want to just clarify. Yeah, so Denver might join us a little bit later, but in the meantime, do you want to get into the team preview of Baywatchers previewing the Oakland Rejects?
Sure. How long is it approximately? I want to know if I have time to toast up an English muffin.
I think it's less than a minute.
Oh crap! Okay.
I haven't actually seen it, so I'm interested. All right, here we go. Baywatchers previewing the Oakland Rejects.
All righty, I've got about 17 spreadsheets and in-depth analysis of exactly what's going to go down here. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's go ahead and drop this shit. 1 time because I'm praying on my downfall. 2 times I'm a master of the football. 3 times for Phil in Ontario. Post on it Reddit when he really should get out more. 4 times in their car with a pick 6. 5 times because they got Billy Belichick. 6 times on the Baywatchers Club, laying down the drum. You got that, NFL? You're gonna need 2 hearses. 1 for your dreams, 1 for your curses. Better hire some nurses, because I'm laying down the hurt. Yeah, you deserve this. Let's get serious, man. All your Oakland skill players are going to be playing the Patriots week 3 in Foxborough. Heart key out.
That was good. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting any sort of rap battle as part of it.
Yeah, I think it was appreciated. Yeah, Jeff continues to surprise because Jeff's the one that wrote that league article. That I honestly think one episode we should just read through his preview because they're really fucking funny. His league articles was too. Wow, this is good. Hey, Jason's jumping in. Did enjoy the hip hop, Jason. Well done, Jeff. I'm glad to see another preview get in there. Seem to be very hardly focused on just Oakland as in, the Raiders in general. We can rap battle segment. Is Chris going to jump on and rap battle with us?
I heartily endorse all of this.
I think you guys be surprised at how good Phil is at this. Okay, all right. So, at some point we might jump back into previews to do Denver's if he's able to join. But why don't we get into week 1 results? What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that. That's
All right.
a thing to do. This time I'm going to remember not spend 2 weeks trying to find.
I've got it pulled up. It's reports franchise weekly results. Yeah. So I got prepared ahead of time. So game 1. I always see mine up front, but is it your team versus Malibu?
Me and Malibu.
All right. What did you think of this one?
I mean,
I guess I'll get my thoughts in because you are one of the owners on it. Week 1 loss for you, taking a 172-point effort, but losing to a 228-point effort from Malibu. Impressive game for Malibu. More better than I thought it would be. Getting pretty good efficiency rating too, about 91%. And let me see if there's any obvious starts that he might be kicking himself about. But in terms of his starters, really nice performance out of Kyle Murray. So maybe justifying his high draft capital. This is just week 1, but had a hell of a game. Chris Carson showed up, and Kareem Hunt, who did much better for him this week, but had a pretty nice game, considering he's splitting carries. Jamison Crowder, being the only guy on the Jets that can do anything, did something. Will Fuller being the right choice out of the 2 wide receivers. Brandon Cooks got nothing. Will Fuller got targeted and is still healthy, apparently. Your man Scary Terry did okay for him. DJ Moore did okay, but good overall effort. His defense didn't really do much outside of Stephon Gilmore and Bradley McDougald, but the rest of his defense had a so-so outing, but the offense really showed up. Mark Andrews, huge first game for Mark Andrews. Crazy one-handed catch. This was a good performance. And this is the first time we're seeing coach scores, actually. So these are the coach scores that you had to, outside of the head coach, these are the ones that you had to throw in. 10 points out of Mike Tomlin. His defensive coordinator, Bill Belichick, did 6.2, and Byron Leftwich. Is that a combined or is that a single person? It sounds like a single person.
Byron Leftwich is one guy. He used to be the WR quarterback.
I do not recognize his name. On your end, Kyle Shanahan got a whopping 0.
Losses to the 49ers.
Yeah, that was unexpected and
that guy a lot of money to be getting me some points.
Matt Ryan did his job. Your running backs did not. Marlon Mack got hurt. We talked about this. Odell did not have a good first game. I keep in my memory right now is Thursday's game where he had a great game. Tyreek Hill was like he was doing nothing until close to the end of the game. where he got that touchdown. I expect more from him this week, but it was like the Sammy Watkins show to lead off for Kansas City. Anthony Miller had a really nice game. MT, I guess that's the high ankle sprain, giving you almost nothing, which resulted probably in Jared Cook having more points. Good effort from your defense overall. Demario Davis, Melvin Ingram showing up, J.C. Jackson. But, yeah, lack of certain things. I'm trying to see if there's anything out of your bench that you would have regretted. Probably John Brown.
But
where are you going to be starting John Brown?
It would have been him or Anthony Miller. It's not like I was going to bench Beckham, Miller, Thomas. So it didn't make any difference.
So I guess it did hurt you.
It would have been ideal. Like, I was debating if I was going to flex Jonathan Abram or one of the linebackers. It probably would have been Hicks, which would have gotten a few more points, but I still wouldn't have won. Now, the only upside of this to me is, one, Malibu had a great game. So it wasn't just a loss because I didn't perform well, although I did underperform.
Great game.
But,
really big game.
Yeah, there's no way I was beating Malibu this week. But I think my better hope here is that you look at it, and there are some people who performed up to expectations. There are some people who underperformed significantly, i.e., like Michael Thomas and his 3.7 points, Shanahan getting me 0. But there aren't really many people, other than maybe Anthony Miller, who you can point to who overperformed.
Mm-hmm.
So week to week, I think this was just a real bad first week. And I'm worried about my team with Thomas and Marlon Mack being out, because now I have to start Antonio Gibson this week, and who knows how he's going to do. Yeah. And if Gibson or Cohen go on bye or get hurt or something, I have to start someone who's not even getting carries. So. That doesn't look good. But otherwise, if I could score 170 with no one really showing up and having like a really good game, I still have some optimism, I guess.
Yeah, Malibu was the second highest scoring team this week. So Malibu balled out. So that's going to be a hard team to beat, even if you're on fully on top of your game. Even if you had the perfect starting lineup, you get 204 points.
You want to combine our picks from last week into this review? It'll just kill two birds with one stone.
I got it pulled up. All right, so for week 1 in Ben Wyatt, between Willamette and Malibu, you were favored by 5. I said Malibu would cover, and you said that you would cover it. So I guess that's pretty obvious.
What? I did not bet on my team in this league. I think you said that wrong. 100%, because I remember betting on my team in one of the leagues and not the other one. I bet on the other one and failed. I said Malibu was going to win. I thought you took me, but I'll go back and watch.
Yeah,
and figure that out.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch and figure it out. But one of the two. So maybe I just got it backwards.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Oakland and San Diego is up next.
All right. So what do we got here? Close game. Close game and potential points. Not close game and started. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Oakland getting a big win. San Diego not putting up a lot at all. For this league, 168 points on a team that's not hobbled. In best of my knowledge, obviously Chris Godwin went down during the game, but scored pretty well before that, 12.4 points. That's solid. Allen Robinson, 11.8. His guys did what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, Jerome Baker did more than he was supposed to do, but
Jerome Baker had a huge game.
On the other hand, I'm not expecting Rashaan Evans to get 0.5 most weeks, but he still, other than that,
that's defense though. You're never gonna be able to.
Yeah, that's true. And Austin Eckler, I would hope gets better than 10.7, but there are some questions with the new quarterback situation there.
Yeah, and Joshua Kelly outscored Austin Eckler fantasy wise, at least as their rookie running back. Getting in for a touchdown, I think, or maybe even 2 touchdowns, but he was getting those red zone runs. Dak Prescott getting what you would expect out of Dak Prescott. J.K. Dobbins doing better than expected, because we talked about this in the part 1 of episode 5, where Mark Ingram didn't do anything in that game. But Hayden Hurst first game as on Atlanta.
This was a key game because a lot of people in fantasy were hyping up Hayden Hurst as going to be the next big thing because he's stepping into a role vacated by a tight end who did well in the system. Yeah. San Diego, as mentioned in my preview, paid him $12.1 million.
Yep.
So seeing 3 catches for 38 yards is not what you're going to want to. You're not happy about that.
Yeah, both those guys, Hayden Hurst and Austin Hooper, who's on Cleveland. Both. I didn't play 12.5 million, but he hasn't looked like he's a huge part of the offense yet. He seems like he's been used much more in blocking for the running game. Austin Hooper, and Hayden Hurst got I don't know how we'll have to see how he does this week, but that's I had some shares of Hayden Hurst and FOMFA that I moved before the year started. Hopefully that's the right move.
Now, interestingly, Oakland, who was projected to be one of the worst teams in the league, good game for them. Their defense didn't even do all that well, but they rode an impressive offensive performance. And this was with Miles Sanders on the bench. He comes back this week, so that team is looking a lot better with him instead of Wayne Gallman. I think Benny Snell probably did better than even Jason was hoping for.
Yeah, and moving forward will be seems like is going to get some good looks in Pittsburgh because I think he's hurt, James Conner.
Yeah, and even if he wasn't, actually, I don't think he was hurt. He was practicing this week.
Okay, he was hurt in the game.
Okay. Well, I know there's a debate on Reddit because people were wondering, was he hurt in the game or was he just from the game?
Oh, maybe.
Like he was practicing immediately. So
Benny Snell did just fine in those minutes.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing, there's some clear overperformance here. I'm not saying Josh Jacobs is not a good running back.
Yeah.
He's not scoring 40 points every week, so that's going to be tough to keep up. Juju 24.4, good sign. We'll see if he can keep it up though.
Juju looked good. He looked like he just needed a little bit of Ben.
A little bit of Ben. And however, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is still the number 3 option in Green Bay. He's not getting 19.1 points each week.
I think Aaron Rodgers was just feasting this week.
Yeah, exactly. and Noah Fant, good young tight end. But again, 18.6, that's not a thing you're going to rely on every week. So there are a lot of overperformers on the offense here, but there's still a lot of potential that they're going to be better than I think the projections originally anticipated.
I like Fant a lot this year. I looked immediately off of on the rosters to see who had him, and I saw Jason. I was like, "Fuck, all right, probably not going to be able to work something out that's reasonable to get Noah Fant." But I like his inputs this year. And JK, that's right. Look at JK go. Let's see how he does this week. Mark Ingram's got to be a part of that offense still. I'm very confused by last week.
All right, so what did we say about this game, or what do you think we said about this game?
I hope I didn't get all of these wrong.
Yeah, now I have no, because I would remember my game well because I knew the whole time it's like I picked one of my teams and not the other. The rest of these games, I have no idea who I picked.
So this was Oakland and San Diego. San Diego was favored by 15. So San Diego had a minus 15. We both said that San Diego would cover that.
Yeah, I think right. Yeah, I think we did say that. We looked at it as like Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson. Yeah, like this team looks a lot better. So
that was nothing, and unfortunately, that was also my shoe-in. So
wow,
that's 0 for me.
Well, but you're right, 51.2% of the roster. You're up 48 points.
I gotta get those clips in, the shoe-ins and locks into the broadcast. All right, we move on to the next game.
Houston, Las Vegas.
Houston, Las Vegas. Big discrepancy in points here. Houston winning 195 to 143.
Now, the impressive, if you want to call it impressive, part of this is that Russell Wilson for Las Vegas scored 37.3 points.
Monster.
And the team still only got 143 points.
If your quarterback scores that, you're usually like in a winning effort. But this was ugly. He got what he's supposed to get out of Alvin Kamara, and that's what he paid the most. Kerryon Johnson, 1.4 points. What happened to Kerryon Johnson? Did he just get benched or did he get hurt?
He's not like Adrian Peterson took over the role and play. He's like there was some time to. So Johnson is.
Oof. That's rough for people who have Johnson shares. That's not going to be a good news move for Chris Thompson. Did not get to be the top running back in in Jacksonville, or even really have much of a role.
Oh yeah, that's the interesting. No one thought he was going to be the top running back.
No, but you thought he'd have a role.
Thought he would get more of a pass catching role.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk and his half a point.
Oh my God! I said it. I didn't like what Christian Kirk was looking like this year.
Yeah, it's been one game, Jam. Calm down. They're not
Too many targets.
They're not going to throw to DeAndre Hopkins like 18 times every game and just completely ignore Christian Kirk. No team has ever been that.
They've done it so far.
Even the Saints last year gave their secondary receivers more options than that.
Well, the guys that so Chris is saying that you took Malibu last week. So is that what we said? Yeah, that is what we said.
That is what. Yeah. Well, that's what I said.
Yeah,
you said the opposite. But
we said the opposite, so it's probably both backwards. So we'll see what we do in the other. If there's any other weird ones, and maybe Chris, you can confirm if any of the other things are off. But yeah, I think I probably just switched those around. Sorry to interrupt. But yeah, like Larry Fitzgerald got more catches and more attention than Christian Kirk did.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. There's no way Christian Kirk, a young receiver coming off, a lot of interest. There's no way he just disappears. That doesn't make sense. If he does, they should just trade him.
Yeah, exactly. He's got value.
He had 98 targets last year, despite sitting out for 3 games.
God, look at the wide receivers at
Las
Vegas wide receivers must be rough if he actually started Chris Thompson as the flex. Because he's got Brashard Perriman as his and Curtis Samuel. I don't even know who's what or 2 or 3 in this.
He kept Mike Evans on the bench.
Oh yeah, but Mike Evans was hurt.
Yeah, Mike Evans was not expected to play, and then a little before game time, it was announced he was playing, but I guess he just didn't have an opportunity to update his lineup there.
Yeah, but he did then get hurt, I think, right?
No, he was fine, and he's going to be okay this week. It's Chris Godwin.
Oh, Godwin, right. Sorry, I was getting confused with Godwin. Godwin got hurt, concussion. Started Gronk. A lot of people were very excited about Gronk, see what he does, and did nothing. Looked to not be the favorite tight end even. Went more to Brady went more to O.J. Howard. Will be interesting to see how that works out moving forward. Is Gronk just going to be like – because they're going with like a 2 tight end set. So is Gronk just like a big-ass blocker at this point? Nice performance out of Trey Flowers. I have him in FOMFA, so I noticed that. Eric Kendricks, which was an interesting game that we were following in on the FOMFA side, where I think David had Eric Kendricks. Or no, I'm confusing with someone else. Sorry. So his defense did okay. Like a couple defensive players did pretty good. James Bradbury, Eric Kendricks, and Trey Flowers, but just not nearly enough to make up for a horrendous offense. Like outside of Alvin Kamara and Russell Wilson, did you even get 20 points combined?
I don't
think so. Yeah, this was a rough one. So yeah, on Houston's side, game 1 for Joe Burrow, 13.3 points, completely fine for a game 1. Le'Veon Bell is down now, and I think was down during that game, so didn't do much. Melvin Gordon was benefiting from Philip Lindsay being done, like getting hurt, and it looks like Melvin Gordon's going to take that job. Devontae Adams, my God, that's a monster wide receiver performance. So that was nice to see for him. Other guys didn't do as much. N'Keal Harry started. Is there someone else that could have started instead?
Dallas Goedert. We'll see
Dallas Goedert,
this week, but
yeah. He didn't. N'Keal Harry has not looked good. AJ Green was getting targeted a lot, and it just wasn't a high scoring game. I think he did better in week 2. Keenan Allen, you'd want to get more out of that. Hunter Henry did well. His defense did okay. Dante Jackson got a big fat 0. Did he play?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
cornerback. Yeah, you could end up with 0s on cornerbacks. That's what's going to be interesting about this league.
Now, what's interesting to me about his defense here is one, as I think we mentioned before, a good game for Patrick Queen, who just for first game of the season.
Yeah.
Right, or first game of his career, I guess. Start. But more interesting to me is they're not defensive ends. He's starting 2 defensive tackles, both of whom came up with, I assume, a sack.
Yeah, Grady Jarrett and Chris Jones.
Yeah, both with 1.5 sacks each, actually, which, not common to see out of defensive tackles. So that's a good start, but we'll see if it can keep up.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's like because both of these guys didn't get great efficiency ratings. Like Houston got 79%, Las Vegas 73%. But are there any obvious players that were missed? I guess Miles Jack was on Las Vegas's bench, but I thought the linebackers he started were fine. I think it's hard to kick yourself for that decision. Buda Baker, I think I would have probably put him in ahead of one of the ahead of Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin had an okay debut. Anyone else here? Mike Evans, I guess, and Keelan Cole. Oh, and Josh Allen was the big one. He had Josh Allen on the bench, but Russell Wilson outscored him, and Josh Allen had a monster game. So I don't think there's anything that Denver's going to be kicking himself about.
No, I mean, I don't even know why he paid Josh Allen so much money. Russell Wilson is always going to start if he's not on bye. He did what
David and FOMFA did, except for he had Josh Allen at 670,000.
David had him on a rookie contract.
Yeah, and but Las Vegas paid him both good money. Josh Allen got, what did he get? 14 million, which is about what people were between 12 and 14 was people paying starting quarterbacks, a bit more for the star ones. And Russell Wilson cost him 20.05. Yeah, I remember because that's what I was willing to pay Russell Wilson until Las Vegas outbid me for him.
You look at Chris Thompson starting and Brashad Perriman and Curtis Samuel, and like you could have had a legit player there, but instead you decided to give Josh Allen $14 million.
Yeah. It was a little bizarre. We'll see how that works out for him going forward. On Houston's side, I guess Dallas Goedert was a big one. But do you flex the tight end? Because Hunter Henry did fine. So it's one of these things. And I guess a couple of his Casey Hayward and Brian Poole did pretty well as cornerbacks. And they were sitting on his bench. That's always a bit annoying to see.
Corners are going to frustrate everyone.
Yeah. That's going to be like in FOMFA, punters and kick receivers that sometimes have a home run kick receive. Ugh.
No one is carrying multiple punters and be like, who do I start this with? You get what they get.
But they'll frustrate you. And kickers will frustrate you too when Kaimi Fairburn goes and misses a whole bunch of kicks to start his season. All right. What do we got next? Actually, what do we do on the picks there? So I have it as Houston favored by 7 over Las Vegas. You said Houston would cover that. I said that Las Vegas, that it wouldn't. So that one's a clear win for you. 0 for me. I'm not doing well. So
2-0 currently, I believe.
Yeah. So well, I mean, with Chris confirming that you had taken Malibu,
that's what I'm including.
Yeah. So then that's 0 and 1. Yeah.
2. I got this one and I got mine.
Yeah. I'm counting them by game. Jesus.
All right. Don't want you screwing me up points here, Jam. You won last year. I know.
You're coming out. You're coming out firing. All right. Next game, we got San Antonio and Waco. First game of San Antonio's big money players. How did they fare?
Well, it's interesting here because the premise of San Antonio was that there's going to be a lot of points out of 2 guys and then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they scored a little less, actually, than I would expect looking at the totals of all their players. It seems like it should add up to more than this.
Yeah.
But, they got a lot of double-digit efforts out of people beyond just McCaffrey and Saquon. And Saquon, by the way, not amongst the highest scorers. So, but McCaffrey, 31 points. He got exactly what he's hoping for there.
Mm.
But, you're getting double-digit performances out of Stafford, who you're expecting. James Washington was a good surprise. TJ Hawkinson, great game out of him. The defense really showed up, and this is where I know San Antonio spent some money as well. Not so much on the linebackers, but on at least the corners and the defensive ends. So Nick Bosa and Mario Addison, they did exactly what Chris was hoping them to do when they did a lot of money. Same with Marlon Humphrey. Tre'Davious White did nothing, so there's a question there. Safeties didn't do much of anything. Mika Kaiser and Devondre Campbell, they did pretty well for not being all that highly paid from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to click on one and they're getting very little money. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be a little disappointed with the 6.8 of Tyler Boyd, but overall it's a win. This team, I think it has some potential because like if he hits on some of these longer shot options, like how much did Boyd getting paid? 15.9. That's not a long shot at all.
Yeah.
But still, Shepard making like 6 point something, that's good value there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem though is you look at his bench, and outside of Minshew, it's like backup quarterback. Yeah, they'll get some points. And
Peterson, I guess.
Adrian Peterson did all right for himself and might get some flex consideration, but we'll see how long he does well before Swift takes over.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a whole lot of like ones and zeros pretty much here. So any bye comes along, any injury comes along, and there might be a lot of trouble.
Well, this was the concern that we had for this team in the beginning because of how much money he gave Saquon and Christian McCaffrey. You don't leave yourself a whole lot of money to fill out a team. And similar approach he took in FOMFA, so it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah,
but yeah, you look at his efficiency ratings, 88%. You can't even the players that didn't perform for him well on the starting lineup in terms of his defense, like cornerbacks and safeties, the guys that he had on his bench didn't do much better. So it's not like he really made any bad decisions. It's just he doesn't have much to choose from.
Yeah, almost all of that is just by not putting Adrian Peterson in instead of, I guess Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
that would have got him 90.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what Chris has to do. He has to win these games, the divisional games, out of the gate. Because as soon as the buys start, he's going to be at a significant disadvantage.
Yeah, it's what Cobras are facing in FOMFA. Like this is when you got to get your wins because you're not going to get them later. I assume that Chris is talking right now about Las Vegas not starting Russ, or did Russ get hurt in practice? I'm pretty sure
Russell Wilson is fine, or if he's not, I should Google this because he's a quarterback in a different league.
I haven't heard anything about Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sure he's fine. I think it's just Denver starting Josh Allen, which is this like. What do we think about that before we get into the others? I would totally be starting Russell Wilson.
I don't know who's playing who, but I think unless it's Josh Allen is playing one of the worst passing defenses in the league and Russell Wilson is playing one of the best, you go with Russell Wilson.
Like Josh Allen is playing who? Bills Dolphins. Okay, I can see that.
Well, the Dolphins do not have a great defense.
Patriots Seahawks.
Okay, I can see where he's going with this. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's sort of a coin flip at that point. But I can see going with Josh Allen.
No, nothing against that. Okay, so about Waco? Anything to point out from Waco? Started Ryan Tannehill over Baker Mayfield was the right decision. Cam Akers didn't do much for him. Nick Chubb, he'll be much happier this week. Nick Chubb didn't do anything in week 1, but week 2 killed it. I went with three running backs with James White. I guess that makes sense because his wide receivers on his bench are not great. He left Jalen Reagor on the bench. Started Justin Jefferson, Marvin Jones, and A.J. Brown. So some risky starts there in the terms of first game for Justin Jefferson, 4.1 points. Marvin Jones is the second wide. I guess Golladay was out, so Marvin Jones had
number one last week.
He was number 1 last week. But I mean, in terms of who would replace him, as his bench wide receivers didn't do much of anything.
That's true. You look at that. There's not
Travis Kelce over O.J. Howard, which you would always do, and was the right decision. But O.J. Howard could have been a good flex. But
no, I don't think anyone would O.J. Howard. What he's going to do.
Yeah.
The surprising thing to me, though, is Justin Jefferson has a good long-term outlook, I think. I would hope so. I mean, I traded a lot to get him.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson went into this game as the clear number 2. He was going to get more looks than Justin Jefferson was. That might change throughout the season. I would certainly hope it does. But I don't know why you start Justin Jefferson over BC Johnson there. And maybe this isn't a bit of hindsight, but I mean, even going into the game, the Vikings were very clear. This is our number 2 receiver.
Yeah. In terms of his defense, I mean, you don't expect Yannick Ngakoue to put up zeros. You don't not start Yannick Ngakoue. So can't really fault him for that. Nice games out of Alexander Johnson and Matt Milano. not a great performance out of his backs. I guess Jesse Bates did okay. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm looking at it. He's got a 78.3% efficiency rating thing, but I don't know if there's any clear mistakes here or clear, decisions that went the other way. It just wasn't a very good effort all around.
Yeah, it's going to be something where it's like Nick Chubb is going to get better, and he did already this week. But otherwise, what do you hope? Yannick Ngakoue is not going to get 0.
Yeah.
But, I don't really know what more you're hoping for here.
Yeah, he's got good defensive ends, actually. He's got Jason Pierre-Paul on his bench that had a nice night. But again, do you not start Yannick Ngakoue and Aaron Donald? So can't really fault him too much. Win for San Antonio. Move on. So we, in terms of picks, San Antonio versus Waco. Waco was favored by 5 points. And we both said that wouldn't happen. We both said that San Antonio would cover. So, hey, I'm on the board. But you are also on the board, so no. Okay. What was next, Phil?
Washington Scranton.
Washington Scranton. I thought this would be an interesting game. I think Washington had players in the early game, so it looked like he was up ahead. And that might have influenced some of our picks.
Yeah, the David Johnson performance really helped.
Yeah.
But then Joe played and didn't do shit. And Reddit's favorite son, Brian Edwards, came away with 1.4 points.
Yeah, tough game for Cyril, putting up 158 points, losing to 178 points, which most other teams would have beat the Stranglers this week, but not Washington.
Well, take wins where you can get it. Now, the interesting thing here is that Cyril's efficiency rating was 71%.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the bench where it's like, oh, why didn't you start this guy? But a lot of them are like, well, you didn't know. Like Joshua Kelly, it was nice to see, but you don't start him over Johnson, Mixon, or Singletary. No way. Paris Campbell, who did you really think was going to get points on Indianapolis other than Hilton? It was unclear. So I get not starting him. Brian Edwards had a lot of hype, so you put him in. Defensive ends,
the two Washington guys
did fine.
Yeah.
Ryan Kerrigan had a hell of a game, and I think this might be the one where there's an argument you should have started him, because going up against the Eagles was clearly going to be a horrible, horrible offensive line. Him or Sweat, just both of them being on the bench, but it's like this is their best opportunity all season.
Yeah,
it's a little surprising there.
Yeah, and they did well. Both of them did well.
And I don't think you can really fault him for starting Adrian or Tracy Walker over Adrian Phillips either. So there's a lot of points left on the bench, but outside of maybe one of the Washington defensive ends, I don't think there's any questionable decisions there.
Yeah, and the Baltimore offensive coordinator that got him some points, but just not enough. Sean McVay not getting him very much. It's going to be interesting to see how coaching affects things in this league. So far, we haven't seen one where it was the clear decision maker, but I think we will a little bit later in a game.
I think the coaches themselves will have to take a swing, because they can get from I think your guy scored almost 30 or something. Yeah, 32 for Harbaugh. Or they can get 0. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think the coordinators, though, I don't think they're going to matter that much, because their points are dependent on your own team as well as the coordinator's team.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they do well, it's because you're already doing well. You're already going to win this game. So.
There won't be that many situations where that's the difference maker. The head coach will be the difference maker, because you could get a fat 0 with your head coach. I guess Scranton gets a win. Scranton gets a win off of the nice performance by CH in his debut. Ben had a good game. Ben Roethlisberger. Jonathan Taylor did better than I thought he would.
Well, Marlon Mack got injured. This is
right. Sorry, yeah.
Scranton, right? Because the main thing that we were giving him shit for was giving Jonathan Taylor that much money when he wasn't expected to do much this year. And unfortunately, we're now in a position where we can't rub this in his face because now Jonathan Taylor's starting. So, I mean, is it going to be worth that much money? We'll see. I still question it, but it's no longer quite as laughable as it once was.
I'm bummed that we can't shit on him for it. But
I know, that was a really bad one.
Anything surprising out of the who started? I don't think so. I mean, you wouldn't have started Corey Davis, wouldn't have started Mike Williams.
Didn't earlier in part A of this podcast, I think you were like, oh, why didn't this guy start Corey Davis? And I was like, no one's starting.
Well, I was thinking from the point of view of A.J. Brown being hurt, but that wasn't the case in week 1. And Corey Davis looked good. A big ass dude. I watched that game. That's why I was thinking that. But to your point, would you start him over Marquise Brown, Jerry Jeudy, or DK Metcalf? Jerry Jeudy had a fine first game, and he had a couple drops. He's getting targeted.
Yeah, I think he had some nerves there. I mean, he's not known for drop passes in college or anything.
But when he caught him, he looked good. Like he had like really fluid movement and some really interesting cuts. Like I'm very excited to see what he does.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Jeudy is if you really want to watch him look good, you actually have to watch the replays of what he did before the catch, which you actually don't typically see. So so when you're watching, if you're watching Denver today, keep an eye on him at the line of scrimmage and just follow him throughout the play rather than keeping your eyes on the quarterback. You'll see the best parts of him, which are his insane route running abilities. So otherwise, you'll just see, oh, yeah, he was open and dropped a pass. That looks bad. It's like, yeah, but you missed how he got that open.
Yeah.
And the fact that Cortland Sutton was out, I mean, this is a good opportunity for Jeudy. Only 4 catches for 56. I'm actually disappointed with that, given that he was the number 1 in this offense for that game.
Yeah, but he dropped like 3 passes that were in good position, and you could tell just on his face it's nerves. He's not gonna drop passes moving forward. But yeah, put it in the bank for Scranton. Anything else to mention about this team?
No, I don't. I think that's all I've got. What was the line on this? Who said what?
So we had Washington versus Scranton. Washington favored by 20. You said that Washington would cover. I said that they wouldn't.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Hey, catching up a little bit. Okay.
Someone check the tapes. Make sure that was said.
Chris could confirm, but
I'm sure it's fine. Like that one, I don't actually know.
All right. So we are going into my game.
It sucks to be Jersey. You put up a good effort and just went up against your pretty dominant team here.
Yeah, a couple of disappointments out of my team. The only real kicking myself over starting decision is, and even this is not really huge kicking myself, is Deshaun Jackson versus Robbie Anderson. Both kind of home run ball type players. I started Deshaun because I preferred. I mean, that was the advice that I saw from websites and stuff too.
Yeah,
but also
like the Eagles. Who are they really throwing?
Yeah, exactly. I thought he'd have lots of room.
If Wentz wasn't sacked as much as he was, there'd be a few more passes coming.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, Wentz shit the bed for me. Teddy Bridgewater on my bench did pretty well, but I wasn't going to be starting Teddy Bridgewater over Carson Wentz. Can't be too mad about that. I like what I saw out of my receivers, like what I saw out of my running backs. Could have done a little bit better on some of the defensive plays, but I didn't really mind it too much. I mean, Chase Young had a nice game for me. Same with Dante Fowler, had an okay game. But this is one game where head coach decided it, basically.
Yeah. Interesting. Just one more thing to say about Deshaun Jackson. This is obviously with the ability of hindsight, but this could have been known ahead of time if there's some thought to it. We should have known, as I've said all along, that Carson Wentz is going to get his ass sacked a lot. What that means, though, is that the receivers who you're going to rely on deep throws, to get those deep throws, you need time in the pocket to make them.
Yeah.
And Wentz just didn't have that.
He did not.
He kept trying to. This was some of the worst play calling out of the Eagles I've seen in a while, where it's like, we're getting our ass sacked constantly. You know what we should do? Play action deep throw. You're just going to get your ass sacked more. It was a terrible plan, but like that's going to hurt Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. Because there was a lot of talk about, Carson Wentz didn't look very accurate. It's like, yeah, because he's throwing these deep throws like rushing all of these deep throws. Like he'd make those if he had some time.
Maybe. I mean, I defend Wentz a lot, but he does go through streaks. There'll be periods where he's just like has all the time in the world in the pocket and throws to someone and just misses them badly. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he'll go through like several games of just looking like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So
that's disappointing for fantasy.
Right. But, you'll deal with it. The one thing that's going to frustrate you as a Wentz owner and should as an Eagles fan is I don't think I've ever once seen a successful wide receiver screen by the Eagles, and they do them constantly. Like, Wentz is not good at it. It's a combination of Wentz's poor ability because he really floats it too much over to them, which basically does not give enough time for, like, you need to get it there in the right amount of time for the blocking to be there and for the guy to get the pass and use that blocking. But if you can't like get the ball there quickly, the guys just get to the guy before they have a chance. Or it's hard to explain, but watch it. It's terrible every time. Jersey though, disappointing loss, but great game. Like both these teams combined, their starter and non-starter total, like their benches, who they're putting into the games, like 350 points for both teams. Most teams are around 250. So there's a lot of hope here. And yes, there's going to be some regression, I think, for both these teams. Robbie Anderson ain't getting you 24 points every week.
No. I think I'm still starting Deshaun.
I probably would be, but maybe not this week. If I were you, I'd consider a change here because Deshaun Watson is going to be, or not Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Jackson is going to be going up against Jalen Ramsey in LA.
Oh yeah, I did not have Deshaun starting this week.
Okay,
for that reason.
You're not going to want to deal with Ramsey.
Yeah.
But the Giants here, James Robinson getting a lot of hype after a solid first game. And outside Slayton, who's not going to get 28 going forward, there's no big surprises here. Like, this score looks fairly repeatable. And this is out of a team that, again, much like Oakland, was projected to be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, so very, very promising in many ways. And I don't think I think 30 points out of Darius Slayton is a lot to ask for, but I think he's going to be very good this year. He's on a very good streak, counting the games ending last year and going into this season. He's looked good.
Now, what Jersey is going to want to do, though, they're going to need to trade for a tight end now that Uzoma is out, because Ingram will hurt himself at some point. Like, it's just not a play. So you can't just go with Evan Engram and no one as a backup. So he should be looking for some options there.
Yeah. I mean, there's waiver wire for some waiver wire attention that Drew Sample got, I think, for out of Cincinnati, because Joe Burrow seems to really be into throwing the tight ends, and after Uzoma was out, Sample got a lot of attention.
It's going to be a question of how much he gets, I guess. There's no doubt he's going to go this week, but. Yeah, I think he'll probably be the top, barring some crazy injury where some running back becomes a starter. He's going to be one of the top paid guys this time.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that we haven't really seen much of in this league is very different from FOMFA. FOMFA, there are people who are like, $950K, that's my offer.
Yeah.
And there's like this clear distinction of what you're going to bid. There's no distinction here. So trying to figure out how much you're going to give someone is a little more challenging. But beyond that, unlike in FOMFA, where it's like I have like $30 million to spend, whatever, I'll give this guy $5 million. Who the hell cares? Which is what the East did with that safety, Marcus May.
Yeah.
Here, it's not just do I have the payroll room, but if you give them that money, you're paying for it. So you have to actually decide if you're willing to spend more money in order to get this guy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm very curious to see how they go. For all teams, really. But yeah, it definitely put the scare into me. Like, I thought that I'd walk away with this because of the projections and whatnot. But Jersey's looking good. And like you said, pretty repeatable. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do this week. So in terms of picks, I was favored by 40. You didn't. You said that Jersey would cover that. I said that didn't. So another point in your hat. Here's what I get for believing in myself.
Yeah, that's.
The next one's going to be interesting because the line on the next game was -3 to South Park. So let's see how that happened. Let me see. Where are we at? South Park Cows versus Chicago Maesters of the Midway.
All right. While you're giving some reviews on this, I'm going to go find a power cord.
All right, sweet. So this was considered to be a very close game, like with the line of -3. Did not end up that way. South Park putting up a pretty solid effort, 220 points versus Chicago's 178, which is not a bad score. Like the challenge, I think, for Chicago is that 178 on 93.5% efficiency rating, which is the highest I think I've seen in week 1. So that's probably about what you're going to be scoring. And South Park just put up a hell of an effort. I mean, Lamar Jackson's always going to do what Lamar Jackson does. I in an odd way, even though I'm his rival, am hoping for it. Yeah, I mean, Chris, you're right. Did 293 possible points, but that's a pretty good goddamn score. But I'm always going to be hoping for Lamar Jackson to do really well because I've got the coach, but nice big game out of him. Naheem Hines, which was a questionable start when before the game started, was a monster, putting up 25 points. Ronald Jones looked pretty good. Looks like he is he's still going to continue to be the top back there, putting up 11. Raheem Mostert, great game for him as well. So some pretty good running back options moving forward, considering what happened in Indianapolis as well. Julian Edelman, everyone keeps shitting on us for saying he's a good value. Looked good and looks like he's going to continue to look good. Would have liked to see more out of Cooper Kupp and Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker got hurt. Some nice defensive performances out of Joey Bosa and Devin White and Frank Clark. But I think you'd hope to get more out of your back. Actually, no, sorry. Jamal Adams, my bad. Huge game for Jamal Adams at safety. Put up 19 points. So the question that I've got is great game for South Park, only on 75% efficiency rating. So a lot of points left on the bench, but I don't think there's any. I'm looking now. You wouldn't have started David Njoku. You wouldn't have started Jimmy Graham.
You're looking at the people on the bench, and it's like they're not going to do that
again. Yeah. So big.
You ever going to get 30 points again?
So South, in my view, I think South Park's looking pretty good. The couple of these won't be monster performances every day, but there's some. You got some good value in Naheem Hines and looking pretty good. Looking like a good team.
Hot take that Chris isn't going to like me for. This will be his high score of the season.
It's quite possible. Like I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, even though it's 75% efficiency. On Chicago's side, you get what you're going to get out of Zeke. Get a better than expected performance, I think, by many out of Cam. So that's good news because it sounds like they're going to be using Cam in the way Cam should be used. Mark Ingram, horrendously disappointing. So that probably doesn't last. David Montgomery, not a whole lot. Jarvis Landry, 10 points. Sammy Watkins was a nice surprise for this team. Started Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, that's a bold choice when it was clear that Jefferson was given the number 3 duties. So you're starting the number 4 receiver. That is a and I get he did it because Galladay's hurt, but still, you got to go with Fitzgerald, even if Fitzgerald is the number 3. Like he's technically the number 2, but depends on like if you think Kirk or him are better. But worst case scenario is the number 3. He's still a better option than Josh Reynolds is. Yeah.
So that was a bit of a weird decision, but it wouldn't have changed the result. But it's just a bit of a weird decision. Darren Waller obviously is going to start for you there. Max Crosby didn't do much for him. Same with Khalil Mack, actually. Not a great game for Khalil Mack. Cameron Hayward doing what you would want. Kyle Fuller, I have him in FOMFA. Getting a late interception, I believe it was, and 16 points. But otherwise, not a whole lot of the defense, not a whole lot left on the like I said, 93.5 efficiency rating on this performance. So does Chicago have a lot of wiggle room to get a lot better, to get better performances? Probably, but probably going to be balanced off by some bad performances. Kenny Golladay will help. Obviously.
Yeah, I think this is another one of those you don't have depth situations.
Yeah.
So it's like you need Ingram to turn around. Like
Yeah.
there's no question about that. You need Montgomery to become something. Like all of his starters need to perform better.
Yeah, and Ingram got at a pretty good salary, actually, 14.3. I think probably that value got hurt a little bit, got tampered a little bit because of having the rookie there. But you need him to do more. There's no one else on your bench that's really going to help you. In terms of the line, how do we call this one, Phil? This was the one that was damn close. South Park favored by 3. We both said that South Park would cover, and South Park did.
I'm doing a good job on these projections.
I know. If we
you're getting right there with you.
Both of them, you're killing it on both. Next one's interesting. We're going Ennis Corthy versus Hollywood. This was your the pick that you made was your lock of the week. So let's see how we did.
Points.
Okay, do you want to get into this one then?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember at this point. I think I put the line was huge for Hollywood to favor. I said that no way Mark loses by that much. And Mark put up a solid game, so I think I'm good, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Mark's team was considered, like we've talked about some bad teams doing well, and it's funny because everyone's going to give me shit for my projections, and I guess understandably so, because a lot of the worst projected teams had some of the best games this week.
Yeah.
None more so than Mark, and an unfortunate loss for him. Projected to be the worst team in the league, coming out of here with almost 223 points. Aaron Rodgers coming out with 39.3 points.
Monster.
Huge game out of him. That's not going to happen again. But then again, Mike McCarthy will probably not get 0 most weeks. I don't know. I mean, Dallas is an enigma. DeAndre Hopkins looking real good with his new team, getting targeted constantly. 26 points there. I mean, It's probably on the high end, but it's something that you could probably be relying on every week, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Zach Moss is looking like he's taking over as the number 1 running back in Buffalo. So I think
just crazy.
That's for Ennis Corthy.
Devin Singletary had a pretty nice year. Like he looked good last year. I'm surprised that it's.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, he did all right statistically. I'm not even going to pretend I watched a lot of Bills games. I don't really know how he looked, and maybe there's something that we missed there that was disappointing them. And now they've got Moss, who can do a little more. But Calvin Ridley, I guess Mark basically won this on the backs of like some real big performances. Backs on some real big performances. Yeah, Ridley 33.9. That's not good. This is coming out of a Ridley owner in the other league. That's not going to happen again. 9 catches for 130 and 2 touchdowns. Good luck repeating that. Yeah,
you might expect some consistent performances at that level from DeAndre Hopkins, but not from Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Now the thing he should be happy about here is CeeDee Lamb getting 5 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah.
Coming out as a rookie, no actual preseason here. Into Dallas's crowded offense and getting that many looks, that's definitely a good sign for him.
Yeah. And I mean, they also had started Michael Gallup, who would be the key competition there. Didn't do too bad for him, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes moving forward. If CeeDee Lamb is going to overtake in terms of targets, and he's looking like he's trending in that direction.
So Mark's team, I think, overall is going to be trending up a lot because, well, we were saying, there's some players who they're not going to repeat these sort of scores. He's got some good depth options here. Laviska Shenault looked good in his
He
day.
did, yeah.
But key is Cortland Sutton is on the bench. He was always supposed to be one of Mark's starters, and he just didn't play this week.
Yeah.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb only came in, I think, because he needed to. So Mark's wide receivers are looking good. And while his running backs were ranked as one of the worst in the league, and Lindsey isn't helping him, but at least Moss is looking like he might turn into something. So that's going to be helpful.
He's still going to have trouble at running back. He has a lot of running backs, but not a lot with opportunity or potential.
Yeah.
You'll get a bump. Oh, I mean, he would have gotten a bump from Frank Gore this week, but he did trade Frank Gore. Since last week. So we'll see what happens. On the Hollywood side, Hollywood's looking good. Hollywood is the team of the week with 249 points. Do you think this is going to be kind of a team to beat type situation, or is this just a good game?
I don't see, and well, Janoris Jenkins isn't going to get 30 every week, and Thielen isn't going to get 30 either. But he's still good. I would expect Hurts to get more than 10 points in a regular week. I would expect T.Y. Hilton to do better than that. Overall, I think Hollywood is looking like they will be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
There's no one here that did anything where I'm like, this is outrageous. This isn't going to happen again. And you look at their bench and Malcolm Brown is sitting on it, getting 29 points. So that's some good depth to be had going forward.
And Peyton Barber, because there was a big question about what Washington would do, and Peyton Barber seemed to be the answer.
And there's still some questions going forward. I mean, it's been 1 week of like who takes these backfields, but I mean, it's a good news for Hollywood so far with those two. Kyle Van Noy, good performance on the bench, and this is a bench that again, like Brandon Cooks didn't do anything. But it's a good option as like a someone's in trouble, need a fill-in sort of guy. McCole Hardman, same thing. Like if there's any difficulty come into the game, Chris Herndon, great backup tight end option. Like Hollywood's got impressive starters and impressive depth. So
Brandon Ayuk on his bench too. He didn't play week 1, but has looked great in camp, and with Deebo Samuel is going to see opportunities.
Yeah, Patrick definitely got a good team out of the auction with this one.
Yeah, and it was interesting because Patrick was one of the teams that was very slow. Like he for a long time was the first, didn't have any signs. Like he signed his coaches before any other players, and it was looking like maybe he missed the boat or was really working on trying to get value, and ended up getting like. That's what we were sort of saying. Like I was trying to do the same thing, but eventually, like I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sit back and just be like, I'll go with no one, and I gave in to just boredom, I guess. But kudos to Patrick for not doing that and coming up with some great options here. Yeah, kudos, and I'm a little annoyed because that looks like a pretty strong team moving forward. Okay, so final week 1 pick. And you're right. Hollywood have saved by 45, and Escorthi coming through. We both said that Escorthi probably covers that, and you made it your lock. So extra bonus point there. Huge game, huge week for you in terms of scoring.
Boom.
So I'm starting off on a tough position. So I guess I look at it as total, including Ben Wyatt and FOMFo, because that's how we'll do it. So you have 13 points to my 8 points.
No, I thought it was going to be even worse than that.
Yeah, because you had 6 points week 1. I had 4 points for FOMFA, and you had and you in Ben Wyatt 6 points again, and I had 4 without the lock. So yeah, and you got both locks in FOMFA and in Ben Wyatt. So good start for you.
All right, well,
see how it goes for week 2. I guess should we talk projections before getting into picks?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so let me throw up the projections. Here we go.
The only reason video is helpful. Other than that, you're looking at us for no reason. We're not really making use of this medium. Well,
everybody wants to look at us, okay? It's the consensus that I've heard.
Yeah, clearly from the screen grabs in that preview of me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and good point from.
I know. Keep an eye on the clock.
All right. So thoughts on projections? Any big swings? I think Scranton had a nice jump.
The biggest swing was my team, and I sort of expected that. It's a combination of losing the game, Malibu having a really good game, as well as my starting running back being out for the season and Michael Thomas being out for a number of weeks. So my make playoffs went from somewhere around like 79, 80% down to 50. So, not happy, but it is what it is. Obviously, Malibu, the biggest beneficiary of that. In the Southwest going into it, I remember most of the teams were pretty even. But coming out of that week, it's looking like we now have a clear favorite in Houston.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's some big news for them.
That looked like a competitive division, though, in terms of like not being that far off from each other. So this could swing as the weeks go through.
Definitely. Your division, you're still favored. That's not a big shock. But the interesting thing is that Scranton has gone from being terrible in terms of projections to being, the wild card favorite. And, they're like, oh, yeah, good projections, Phil. I haven't changed the projections. You've just filled out your roster so it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And also now one of your $27 million running backs is no longer a backup.
Yeah.
So,
that's nice. That's real nice.
Helps a lot for Scranton there. So they're looking in good position. Jet Setters also a division that's going to be real tight this year. I mean,
yeah.
The favorite team, and again, Hollywood's looking good, so I think their odds are better in my opinion than my projections say. But the favorite in the division is still not over 50%.
Yeah.
You don't have a clear winner here. Like Hollywood has the plurality, I guess, of chances to win this division. But
so Nico chiming in 7-6 beforehand.
Okay, what?
I think what we were then. Well, what we were talking about maybe was, I remember there was a lot of argument towards your first cut of projections.
Which
yeah.
And it's been a combination of things. Like the first one, since then they added a lot of depth and players to actually not get them zeros in my projections, essentially. And that helped go up a lot further. I think the extra win here is like a lot of that has to do with like projections for the Colts backfield.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about how Jersey's team looked pretty good, but their projections in the Rail Riders don't look great. But I think that's probably has to do with losing that first game. And I guess the most points they could score is still showing as not a super high number compared to the other people in the division.
Yeah, the big winner here, and this is actually not good for the league overall, but Scranton, the fact that they traded 2 drafts worth of their entire picks with Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Means that we may have one of the better teams in the league also coming away with 2 drafts worth of good picks. So,
Nico.
I mean, that's
and Kevin.
Be trouble. So I really hope for the sake of the league, if nothing else, Jersey picks it up a bit.
Yeah, because right now Jersey's projected at the bottom and Scranton's jumped up. So it'll be very interesting to see that. Hopefully I can still hold on and be the lead in that division. Looking like to be the case. Any other big surprises out of this? I don't think so. I mean, I expected, I guess what I expected in this league would be like each division would be kind of like really at each other's necks, neck and neck. I didn't expect like clear winners.
I mean, there is in a couple of divisions, but there's
yeah. So happy to be one of those clear winners.
Mark's team is the other one, NS Corthy, that before they were looking as one of the worst teams in the league, and now the projections have been updated, and it's like, okay, they're looking back in competition. Yeah.
That's why I think obviously that's why Hollywood doesn't have a higher projected thing, because they have a very solid team, but they're going up against strong competition. South Park had a great game. Like in terms of top 5 in scoring this week, let me see what that was. Hollywood was tops, but South Park was up there too. So being in the same division, that's interesting. Hollywood at 250, Malibu at 228, and Escorthia at 222, and South Park at 220. So 3 of the top 5 scores, and then myself at 217. But 3 of the top 5 scores were in the same division, so that should make it really interesting.
All right, well, we got
15 minutes
before the game starts, so let's make our picks for this week.
Let us make some picks. Okay, so I already got them loaded up and ready to go. Let me pull up. I'd like to pull up the teams actually, because I don't know the teams offhand as well in this league as in FOMFA. So let's take a look at these projections. Let's see. Is there any bonus for game of the week? Because I don't think there is.
What do you mean?
Oh, who's playing? Oh, South Park and Hollywood. Are you guys playing each other this week? I just see Chris putting up some comments. It's going to be it'll be an interesting one. Okay, so projections.
If there's a question, if there's a money bonus for winning team of the week, yes.
No, team of the week, yes, but not game of the week.
I don't know what the difference would be between those 2 things.
I would assume that would be a close game.
Oh, okay, I get it. No, yeah, you don't get shit for that.
All right. Okay.
Why would you get money from my schedule?
Okay, so first game is what? Hollywood versus South Park. Right?
Yes, sure. Why not? I don't know.
It probably shows up because Chris set the lines, so like he would see Hollywood.
Let's start with that then.
Okay, so let me pull up. Where is Hollywood versus South Park?
It's the last game.
Last game. Okay. So we've got Hollywood favored by 5. Close game.
I will take Hollywood.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take Hollywood too. We're both saying Hollywood to cover. All right, next up we got Malibu versus San Diego. Malibu is favored by 25.
All right, well, you can start this one out.
All right, let's see. San Diego versus Malibu. Malibu had a nice first game. Already had a good game. Yeah, I'm going to say with 25 points. Yeah, I'm going to say Malibu covers.
I also agree with that.
Not helping my points in any way. Next up is
the rest of the season. Every game you pick, I just pick the same one. Just
you secure the win. Okay. Next up is a repeat from the FOMFA game of the week, closest game between the Sixes and Jason's team, Cloud to Ground, but except for in Ben Wyatt, the Willamette Valley Coopers versus the Oakland Rejects. You are favored by 24 points.
24, huh?
Yeah.
Without Michael Thomas, and I'm still up 24. Oh well, Sanders coming back. I keep betting against my team, but it's been good for me so far. I'm going Oakland. I mean, Alex Van Pelt, he currently shows a 0, and he's going to have a good game for me. But I'm still going Oakland.
I'm leaning Oakland, but let's make it interesting. I'm going to go with you to cover. Okay. Next up, we got Houston versus Waco. Houston is favored by 10. Closer.
You can start this one out.
Closer than I thought. Starting Ryan Tannehill. Cam Akers did not look good. And it looks like Michael Brown's going to get much more of that attention.
Big game out of Nick Chubb.
Yeah, big game out of Nick Chubb.
Game from A.J. Green on the other side.
Yeah. What did A.J. Green score?
5.4.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow scored pretty well. And he wasn't projected for that well. So I think that kind of balances it out. Packers are playing the Saints. Interesting. I'm going to say that I don't know if I should believe. I'm going to go with Houston. I'll say Houston covers that.
I will. Well, Aaron Donald against the Eagles. That is.
Aaron Donald has never sacked. Courtesy to Chris for that call, but has never sacked Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he's about to.
He's about to.
Yeah, I was looking at Houston, but I mean that Devontae Adams is looking good, but
against the Saints,
Kelsey. I can't not pick Aaron Donald here. I think he's going to have a monster game, and West Waco is going to be my pick.
Okay. All right. So we're going on to the Stetsons versus the Gamblers, San Antonio and Las Vegas. Well, the line is San Antonio by 11.
11, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we got Mike Evans on Las Vegas side without Godwin muddying things up for him. Then we got a bunch of who knows other than Kamara and Wilson, which is what happened last week.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, San Antonio 11. Yeah, I've got Scott Miller in there to replace. Yeah, I've got to go with San Antonio here.
Yeah, and I'm a little concerned about Saquon versus the 49ers. Tyler Boyd, I know, already had a good game, so that kind of helps. Scotty Miller in place of Chris Godwin will get looks. Yeah, I agree. I think San Antonio. That's close enough cover. Okay, next up we got Washington versus Jersey. Washington currently favored by 10 points.
All right, well, this is your choice.
Let's see. It's going to go straight with gut, but now I'm looking at the numbers, and that's changing a little bit. Yeah, let's see. We got Mahomes. Going to do Mahomes things.
Mahomes is frightening.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington. I was actually going with gut with Jersey, and now I'm going with Washington.
Well, I'm going to follow your gut, and I'm going to go Jersey. Here's why, and you can't change your pick now that I'm giving my logic behind it. But, Watson against Baltimore is going to be a little scary. One, I'm really liking Darius Slayton, as we've talked about here. Two, the Jaguars have said they're planning on relying on James Robinson. And a key point here, I think, is with the coaches. McVay against Philly, I don't know. Relying on that is basically an even game. But Sean going up against Miami, I think there's a lot of potential for some points there.
Interesting.
I think I'm taking Jersey in this one.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a good call. Then it's me versus Scranton. I'm favored by 40.
Oh, I was about to just say I take you, but that's it's a big game. Oh, your team is so fucking good. I hate it.
It's nice to hear that.
40 though.
40.
This is actually really making me think.
It's making me think.
I think I'll take Scranton to not cover that, but it's definitely a tough decision.
So
I'm taking Scranton. I don't know how to phrase it when it's like get the win, but don't actually win the game.
Yeah, just to be within 40.
Yeah.
40 points. Am I really going to just say I believe? Who you guys got? Jonathan Taylor, CH. It's Kansas City playing. Chargers. Okay. Arizona at the football team for the coach. 40 is a lot. And I believed in myself 1 week. My preview says these stranglers are about to choke, so that's fun. I'll take myself.
All right.
I'm not fully on board with it, but I'll take myself. Just to throw the belief in there. All right, so last game, Chicago versus Enniscorthy. Chicago favored by 17.
All right, well, you're up, sir.
I'm taking Enniscorthy.
Oh, wow, that was quick. By how much is Chicago favored?
17.
17.
Yeah. I didn't even look. This might be a stupid decision.
No, I think that's. Yeah, I'm also taking Enniscorthy.
All right. Very interesting. So we had how many of the same picks? 1, 2. Because should we be doing I guess lock of the week shoe in? We'll just do what last year. I think we did it on ones that we disagreed on.
Well,
we haven't been doing it this year. That's
I don't think it has to be ones we disagree on this year, but we do have to pick different ones.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember who picked first in the other league, but being a gentleman who is kicking your ass so far, I'll let you make your.
I think you did pick first in the other way.
Either way, I will. Okay.
If it was me picking first, I would have taken. Oh no! Sorry, no. I did pick first, so you go first.
All right, I've got 2 games I'm really considering here, but I don't want to tell you what they are, so I can't ask for the line for either of them. I'm gonna take San Antonio as my lock of the week.
That's a good take. We had the same pick there.
I think you're gonna take my alternate too.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I think I'm gonna take Malibu. for my shoe in. What was your alternate? Now that I picked, and I'm not changing.
Dorothy.
Yeah, that was the other one I was saying. But I like what I saw out of Malibu. So give me some points, Jeff, please. I need points to especially this one. I need these points because I could at least get a head on it. I realized that it was me who picked first because in week 1 because it was a Death Valley versus you at an 80. And we both insta called that Death Valley probably covers that. And so then when I had the choice, I just took it. All right, with 2 minutes to spare, I think that covers our. Oh man, I did this again. I left that projections on the entire time we were making the picks. My bad. Instead of seeing our faces, you just saw numbers.
It's not about it's about the trophy.
Yeah, I hope to put one up too as we end this year. So yeah, everyone have a good week. Good luck to everybody. I don't know what this flag is.
The gay pride flag.
All right. Well, happy gay pride to you, Chris.
It's September, but sure.
All right. Getting a lot of love, a lot of attention, a lot of love. God bless us all. That's right. Enjoy football, boys. We'll see you next time.
Adios.